What's up, everybody, and welcome to the What the Fun Show. It's brand new. Love to see
episode.
it. First episode under the new rebrand. We are the What the Fun Podcasting Network. We have What the Fun Show as well as Test Your Might, our weekly video game debate show. And so thank you guys so much for joining us on our first episode here. And we got a very special occasion to start us off with the rebrand, and that is reviewing the Moon Knight season from Disney+. So my name is Mike. I'm your host, as well as my co-hosts here. We got Justin. How you doing today, Justin?
Hello. I'm doing fantastic. Just got done with the finale. Can't wait to talk about it.
All right, cool. And then we got, he's usually behind the scenes editing. We got Joe, front and center. How you doing,
I'll still be behind the scenes editing, but I'm also here in front of the scenes. Is that a thing? In front of the screen?
Yes.
On the screen? In front of a camera?
In the scene.
Hey, everyone.
All right. So yeah, listeners, just a reminder, we did do a rebrand. And so down below, I'll link you to our rebrand episode where we talked about everything that we changed, the process in going to change. Our friend Cicero Holmes joins us for that as well. He's usually on the Test Your Might side, but I'm assuming that you guys listen to both. So, and if you're not listening to both, why? What are you doing? Well, we are the What the Fun Show here, and so I would love if you guys would leave a review. We're looking for them. But to be honest, we would love to see them. We would love to read them out in the show, and just let us know how we're doing. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. We would really, really appreciate to have you guys help us get there. And so we're not trying to be YouTubers. We just want to have that custom link so that we could just say, hey, we're going to be at youtube.com/whatthefun, so hopefully, if you guys want to watch. So hopefully you guys can get us there. But if you are listening audio only, then certainly go ahead and leave us a review. 5 stars on Spotify. You could only do it on the mobile app. So thank you so much in advance. All right, guys. So today we are going to review Moon Knight. So listeners, this will be a spoiler-filled episode. We are going to spoil the whole season, kind of go through some of the things that we liked from the previous 5 episodes, and then we will actually deep dive on the last episode. So, hopefully you all enjoyed Moon Knight, but let's go into a spoiler review, gentlemen. Spoiler-free review really quickly before we give our spoiler bumper there. So, Joe, I'm going to go your way first. Overall spoiler-free review of Moon Knight Season 1.
I'm super good at spoiler-free reviews. Are you ready? Audience, if you've been listening for a while, I don't do trailers. I refuse to do that. So here's my spoiler-free review. Moon Knight was a comic book character. Now he's on screen. It's on Disney+. Watch it. There you go.
I'll roll off of that. That's fine.
I wish you would give us a little bit more.
That was great.
You've done this on Sonic.
He gave us a title. He gave us where it's at. I like it. It's quick and to the point. No spoilers.
All right.
If anyone listening can't be
And
mad.
I gave my endorsement. Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, go ahead. I started this week and finished it this week. I binged it. And I've never heard of this character before. I never knew about them. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And if you stick around after the final finale, there is a little rubber duck in there, which makes my rating on the show go way up. So,
that's fair.
Disney Plus, like Joe said, go for it. Great show.
So I will just start off, I'll just throw it down. Moon Knight is the best Disney Plus series, in my opinion. I thought that it was fantastic. Oscar Isaac is brilliant. He is phenomenal. This just had the depth. This had the subtle tone changes that the MCU needed, in my opinion. I like this show over every other Disney Plus series so far. So I think Hawkeye would be a close second to me. Maybe not a close second. That's how much I liked Moon Knight. And I know you're giving me that look. Loki was bad. I didn't like Loki.
WandaVision.
What are we doing here? I thought we were here to talk about Moon Knight, not poop on the other Disney Plus shows. If we want to do that, I can get into it.
Yeah, well, WandaVision is getting a movie. You know, I don't see Moon Knight doing that. So,
WandaVision is getting a movie?
Well, Wanda's in the new Doctor Strange. All right, continue.
Anyway, I'm not pooping on them. The only one that I will poop on is Loki. I did not like Loki.
I'm just saying I can't disagree with Mike because there was a rubber duck in the show. So,
yeah, okay.
You know.
All right. Well, we really we liked Moon Knight, so that's our spoiler-free review. So, listeners, if you have not seen Moon Knight, if you have not seen all of the episodes, please pause this right now and go and watch Moon Knight on Disney Plus. Here is your official spoiler warning. Hey, you.
What's that?
What are you doing?
Who, me?
Do you want to be spoiled? No? Well then,
stop it. Get some help.
So you don't feel like this guy. Instead, let it be a surprise.
Oh, I like surprises.
So go watch the thing before you move on in the podcast, okay?
Alrighty then.
All right, that was your spoiler warning. So once again, if you have not seen Moon Knight, stop this podcast. Go watch the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 6 episodes long. It's not a very long series, but it is a very good one. So it's worth a watch for sure.
Yeah, so really quickly with the first 5 episodes, because we're going to deep dive into the finale. But the first 5 episodes, Joe, I want to start with you. What were some of the highlights for you? What did you enjoy? Maybe what did you dislike? Just let us know what some of your highlights were from first 5 episodes.
All right, so this series has a lot going for it. I think their timing was really good. I had a hard time with it in the beginning for the first episode, as far as introduction to character, understanding story and stuff like that. They put you into the story in the middle of it, kind of give you not so much like Tarantino, like where they start at the end and then like reverse everything, but you already start the episode with questions. Who is this guy? What's going on here? Why is he strapped to a bed? Why is there sand all around? Where is he? What's going on? You get a lot of questions off the rip, and they slowly answer them. I think, like I said, I had trouble with it in the beginning. As it progresses, it gets better. You understand the timing. You understand why they do it this way. You understand more and more what they were going for with the kind of the feel of the timeline and how everything is laid out. That trip that you go on. They did that really, really well. Obviously, it's a Disney Plus show. They've got the money behind it. Everything that they do on screen looks amazing. It's phenomenal. Yeah. It just looks really good. The fighting sequences, the CG, like all of it works. The fact that they were able to use a lot of dark things instead of really bright things, I think helps them. The feel is a little bit darker. The feel is a little more adult. It's not really a kid. It's not something that I'd want my young kids watching.
No, yeah.
But it's definitely something that like an older kid, if I had teenagers right now, I would definitely want to watch them or watch this with them. As far as like, we're on spoiler zone, right? So
spoilers. Yeah.
It starts off with Stephen Grant, who is like this nerdy, what is he doing chained to a bed nerd style. Like, dude's the nicest guy. He is just caring and considerate, and he's everything you want in like a good guy. And you're introduced to him first, and you're asking, okay, well, what's going to happen? Something has to happen. Dude's literally strapped, chained to a bed, cable tied, sand around, 18 locks on his doors. There's something crazy going on. And in the first episode, you get a touch, and then it's like right off a cliff, just everything. They start throwing just so much at you. 5 episodes is a lot. I don't think I can do a good job covering all of them. That's
why I just said just the highlights.
Yeah, it takes you on a literal journey, like around the world. where you get to experience a ton of stuff. Moon Knight, it's Egyptian. All of this is based on the Egyptian gods. So you get a pretty awesome introductory like crash course into who some of the Egyptian gods are, kind of what their powers were, what their role was, and a little bit of history on that, and a very, very action-packed adventure ride to the destination.
Justin, if you don't mind, I want to jump in really quickly before I lose this thought, because Joe, you said that the start of this was a little troubling for you. And for me, I actually had peace with it. Wasn't troubling at all, because what I loved about this series is that it's a brand new series that is not based on an already established MCU character. And so I thought that the beginning of this show was extremely refreshing, because it was a thrill to me. Like, I didn't know where this was going to go. And that's what I loved about this show. I have not read Moon Knight in the comics. It's definitely on my list. So Jarrett from the Infinity Bros, if you're listening, I'm going to read some Moon Knight because I know it's one of your favorite characters. And this show just makes me so more engaged into Moon Knight as a character. I really loved the sort of like thriller vibe that you got from like the first couple episodes there. So Justin, a little bit of highlights, and then I'll go into a couple more of mine.
You know, Joe said it best. It is very Egyptian and also very constellation / moon and stars, which are strong points for it, because it really throws it at you and teaches you a lot if you didn't know about those things. One of the main kind of like through lines through this entire show is the scales and weighing a person good versus evil. If they are if they are a good person, they've done good things, or a bad person, are going to commit bad things. And it's really the scales of weighing someone left and right to see if they're going to become a good person or if they already are a bad person. And one of my highest points in this show, minus the finale, was going to be episode 2, which is Summon the Suit. Previously, he had fought a jackal, an Egyptian jackal, but this is done out on the streets, and it is a very comical / action-packed scene where he is fighting this jackal throughout different personalities, if you want to get into spoilers, and then eventually summons the suit running across building tops like Batman, it was just awesome to see. You see his cape for the first time, which is a crescent moon. It looks awesome. And he ends up going on top of this jackal, falling through the sky, and pierces him and basically impales him on this pillar. And it was just an epic ending to this episode. And right after that, you get more, just a tease towards the stakes are still high, even though you just killed this jackal. And I really enjoyed that it kept you wanting to keep watching. It just kept you feeding your urge to learn more and keep going with the story.
That's true. Cliffhangers were great in the show.
Oh, yeah.
They were on point for sure.
Originally in the first episode, when you saw the chain and the bed and the locks and the tape on the door so that he knows if he opened it, I immediately went, I don't know this character. Maybe he's a werewolf, and I would have been let down a lot. And I'm so glad that it's something completely different and it has to do with Egyptian gods. It was awesome. It was such a calming, like you said, Mike. It's very peaceful to know that they didn't just jump on the train with vampires and werewolves, and they made this unique character based around the moon. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what the character is, from the comics, and I just think they did a really good job. From what I know, I haven't read a lot of Moon Knight, but from what I know, they've done a really good job at adapting it, as far as comic book goes. So yeah, like, man, this show, it's just, first of all, like, Oscar Isaac, I know this is a TV show, but he deserves an Oscar. Like, I don't care. I know. It was a little joke, but to be honest though, he, like, episode 5 alone, he deserves an Oscar. Episode 5 is where he's playing against himself. Like, he's, 2 different characters in one episode, and just, he does such a good Moon Knight. It's like, I know it's only a first season, but like there's no other person that I would want to play this character. Like, like, you know, like I think about like Tony Stark. Now Oscar Isaac is obviously, as far as MCU goes, not at the level of like, you know, Captain America and Tony Stark right now. But like, I don't see anybody but Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark. I don't see anybody but Chris Evans playing Captain America, or even Chris Hemsworth playing Thor. You know, that version of Captain America. I know there's a new Captain America. Listeners, the reason why
call you out hard.
the reason why I do that is watch the video version. You could see Joe's face as I'm. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
But like that's how good Oscar Isaac was as Mark Spector, as Stephen Grant, and spoiler as Jack, his third personality. So, or Jake Lockley. There we go.
Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm. He wasn't wearing khakis.
I was gonna say that this is the most recent split personality kind of acting that I've seen since Split in 2016, and that guy got the award for the best actor as well. Multiple places. So I believe that he did a valiant job playing these different roles and playing them unique enough that we know the difference.
Yeah, even May Kalamoui as Layla, and F. Murray Abraham as the voice of Khonshu. And then I really think that like Ethan Hawke's Arthur Harrow needs to be put up there in discussion of, you know, who's the best MCU villain. Like he's in that argument, I would say. I don't think he's the best, but I think he's in that argument.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, you know, like I think you could throw a hat in for him. But yeah, episode 5 was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. Listeners, again, spoilers, but Mark Spector, Moon Knight, he dies. He gets shot in the chest, and then he goes, twice, and then he goes into the afterworld of the Egyptian gods and lore, and it turns out this is turns out it's like a psychiatric ward of like a hospital, and like some of the characters, you know, like Arthur Harrow is his psychiatrist. You know, there's like these like through lines of, you know, and basically all of episode 5 is him going through his past memories, trying to figure out how to make his heart, like Justin alluded to, balanced on the scales. Yeah. And then they do eventually become balanced, and he gets to go to what would be heaven, you know, the fields in that
the field of reeds. Yeah,
in that faith, in that belief. So yeah, it's just, you know, the action. I think Justin, you'll appreciate this because you like Uncharted, but I'm gonna use Tomb Raider. Like this show gave me Tomb Raider, or probably gave you Uncharted vibes. Like, you know, just like really, really good, awesome, like, for lack of a better term, tomb raiding. Like it was just an
even
awesome
going back
time.
to like Indiana Jones, the fact that they're going across the world and bringing us along on this ride is what it does. It's all three of those combined. It was great.
Yeah, and I can't praise Oscar Isaac enough. Like I just think he did such a phenomenal job, both as Stephen Grant and Mark Spector. Like, man, what a show! What a show! Anything else on 1 through 5?
You know, oh, go ahead.
I understand the places they got to visit. One, super beautiful, and the way that they were incorporated into his psychiatric like vision sort of journey. Those little things, I think, put it over the top for me. Like making sure that they didn't miss a step. They incorporated all the little things through the entire, like the whole through line of the story worked perfectly, even though it was so disjointed, and that's on purpose, right? Because we have a person who suffers from DID, dissociative identity disorder. He's got, that we know of, 3 different personalities. And now we're introduced to 2 of them pretty early on within the first episode and 2 episodes. And then we are given names for the first 2 of them, but we meet the third one once in episode 4, I think it was.
Episode 5, we meet him because this is the Jake personality.
Yeah.
And in episode 5, there is one scene where he has this like New York accent. He's got his nose broken and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that is supposedly Jake.
We meet him once before though, right? We don't meet him, but
No, I don't think so.
He blacks out
I don't
one time
remember him
before with Mark and Steven, and Mark goes, "Was that you?" And Steven goes, "No." I can't remember if that was episode 4 or 5.
That was
the
finale.
That's
the
the
finale.
No, it happened one time before that. When they're on the rooftop with the in Egypt on the rooftops with the people. It wasn't Mark or Steven. Do you remember that?
Okay, yes. A little bit of spoilers into the finale. A little bit of spoilers into the finale. Now we know that all the blackouts were this third personality in Jake. But I agree with you, Jelly, that it's kind of explored, but it's like Steven just puts the blame on Mark so much in that scene that you just don't really know that there's a third person.
Yeah, there's no way of knowing that there was a third one until later.
I knew there was a third one. I mean, I knew then that there was a third one because Mark, they make a point. Mark goes, "That wasn't me," and Steven goes, "Well, it wasn't me." And so, Steven's assuming it was Mark and thinks Mark's alive because he knows Mark's a killer. But
you're probably right, and we're missing it up. So
I've got a few little things to add. If you go back, because I've watched the first episode a couple times now, and you look, he has a fish tank in his apartment, and if you look in that fish tank, there are nods to each episode and plot points to each episode inside that fish tank. If you go back, there's like the boat, there's the Pyramid of Giza, there's the temple, there's all the different things that kind of like are going through the episodes in that fish tank alone. And then the other thing that I noticed, the moons, obviously the show is called Moon Knight. Throughout the episodes, they show the phases of the moons. And by the end, in the finale, which we're going to get to, it's a full moon. It's really, really cool that Disney, we know Disney is leaving these little Easter eggs and nods and smart moves and placement. It's ridiculous for this show. They did a great job. Just go back. Even when you start, you'll see the fish tank for anyone watching that hasn't watched it. And you'll be like, okay, well, I'll keep really track of that. Yeah.
I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do that.
You'll see like the boat is literally in the fish tank. Like, it's really cool.
I'm excited for that.
Let's go into the finale. Yeah. It's worth it.
Listeners, we're going to go into the finale and we're going to do a deep dive on this. So once again, if you have not seen it, please pause. If you've only seen 1 through 5 and we just went through those, please pause and go watch the finale. So, this episode starts off with basically a resurrected Mark who does restore Steven by basically deciding that he's not going to be Moon Knight. He's not going to be Mark Spector without Stephen Grant, so this movie this episode. Yeah, so this episode doesn't necessarily start off with that scene, but that's kind of the main premise at the beginning. It does, however, start off with Layla, who is kind of like figuring out how to stop Harrow from resurrecting the Egyptian god that he's trying to excuse me, that he's trying to resurrect, and she is trying to basically get the she's trying to get the statue that the god is attached to, and basically break it before the god gets basically resurrected. So
a shabti.
A shabti. Please fill in the blanks. Please. I'm going off an episode or just like a very, very small synopsis. So,
it was good. The way that they opened with her, because we get the little bit of recap at the beginning of the episode, and they move right into like the meat. And this episode is obviously the finale, so it's gonna have a lot of meat in there. We get Layla. She's working Yeah, to try and prevent Harrow from getting. Well, Harrow got a hold of the statue and needs to get back to the pyramid so that he can release Amit. Either way,
Amit, yeah.
And what I really liked was that first scene where they pull up to the like the border crossing area, so they're where they're trying to get stopped, and Harrow steps out with the staff and judges all the people.
Literally a small scale version of what we get. It's forthcoming.
Yes.
It was great to see the power that he holds at this point before even releasing him. Definitely.
And then Layla's going rogue here, trying to go solo. And then we get to wear it from Mark and Steven's journey, breaking through to this plane of existence to try and contact her and be like, yo, stop it. Yo, what are you? No, what are you doing? Stop! Don't do that. Mark says stop. Yeah. Listen, and Layla is very strong-willed. I think that's the best way we can put it. And she can do this alone. She doesn't need the help. Turns out, that's not true. She needs the help, but
just a little
right
bit,
then and there, she's really sure of herself. And then they, Harrow judges him. One of the soldiers was the only one who didn't die, whose soul wasn't, released or whatever, stolen. Mortal Kombat vibes. And it was just purple instead of green this time.
It's true. Your soul is mine.
And and then from there, just like it doesn't stop, right? They ramp it up real quick and they keep it there high caliber the whole time. Even through like the thriller parts, you're still like
which is one of the main criticisms that I am seeing about a lot of these Disney Plus shows, is that they kind of end more like the MCU movies instead of like with any differences. And like for this, I feel like you had to have this like big epic finale in the way that it happened, because this was the most like drama and dramatic scene filled like storyline.
Yeah.
In all of Disney Plus so far. To have like 1 through 5 so packed with the drama and the brilliant acting and the setting up the characters. I think you had to end it like this. I think they did it well. I think they handled it well. I had some gripes with it. But regardless, like I think it was a fun finale. So, anyway, Harrow does eventually get to the pyramid, where they have basically this is kind of like the room where all the gods' avatars kind of meet to
the blue movie, the one with the blue people.
Yeah. Yes, they're all blue. No, but they have to resurrect Amit here because it is the strongest place to do so. And then later on in the movie, that also comes in, or movie, later on in the episode, that also comes into play. So Layla actually follows them there. And Justin, can you kind of go through what happens here with Layla? What does she do at the pyramid?
So her main plan here is to go solo mission, right? To stop Harrow, but he is already doing what he came there to do, pretty much. He's releasing Amit, and it is too late by that time.
Yeah.
So she goes and she is like, oh, I need to break Khonshu.
Well, that was free. as Joe said. That's what Tawerit was telling her through those dead bodies was, hey, you need to resurrect Khonshu because Mark needs to be Moon Knight again.
Yeah, like brought back to the land of the living, or the land of life. So she eventually finds. What's interesting, this is probably my only gripe in this whole entire finale, is Harrow hears something happen behind him, where she takes down one of his guards. And he tells the guards around him to go find out what that is. She's here. Someone's here to stop Mark, pretty much. And then it just nothing comes of it. She gets to save Khonshu, and it proceeds through the next phase of this episode, but nothing came of that. And that was the only gripe I had. I don't know if that was one of the ones you had, Mike, but it just seemed like the continuity of it. You know, you didn't follow through with that. Go find out what that noise was.
I think he did, though, when he kind of used his staff to break the pyramid, because Khonshu shows up in that moment, and he's like, okay, my guard's not going to get this person quickly, so I'm just gonna go like
destroy this place,
laser beam everywhere, and destroy the place, and that's kind of what happens. But Layla, she accepts something. What does she accept?
Yeah. So what I was talking about before, Tawerit comes back in that first scene, and this is 15-20 minutes prior to the pyramid scene. And Tawerit's like, "Hey, I've heard a lot about you. You want to be my avatar?"
Yeah.
And Layla's like, "Hard pass." Not happening.
Exactly.
And then again in the pyramid, to where it's like, yo, like, you want to be my avatar? And she's like,
yeah,
no, it's still kind of hard pass. Like, I don't really want to do that. And then, the big laser beam, the I think it was Ra or his avatar dies right in front of her. And she's like, on second thought, maybe being avatar of a god would be a good thing right now so that I don't die. But it's only temporary. So she
adds that at the end. She's like,
temporary avatar, which was a great scene.
Yeah. And this is coming off the heels of, she does resurrect Khonshu by breaking his little statue.
Shabti.
And Khonshu, yeah, sure. And Khonshu was like, hey, you need to be my avatar because we need to stop. And she knows the torture, basically, that Khonshu has put Mark through. So she's like, hell no. No way that you're going to be my avatar, or you're going to be, I'm going to be your avatar. There's just no way. And so it's just really cool that you see this, like, she does not want to be an avatar, but she's like, I kind of got to be an avatar, and like, to wear it, you sound cool, way cooler than Khonshu in a sense. And she's like, all right, just temporarily, which, you know, spoiler alert, I don't think it's going to be temporary anymore. No. After what she does at the end. Maybe
she gives it up, you know?
But there's more Easter eggs in that note for her dad used to call her Little Scarab. And I guess the superhero that she took form of is like a scarab or something.
A scarab, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think she's going to give up that power. I think she's going to continue that role.
And then also, first of all, Antonia Salib voices Tawerit, and she does a phenomenal job. She's one of the best characters in this whole thing, and she like, the way that she convinces her to become her, you know, to have Layla become her avatar, is that she knows her dad. You know, Tawerit, by the way, Tawerit in the Egyptian faith, Egyptian religion, is she's basically she's the bridge. She takes people to the afterlife to get judged, basically. So like, she knows Layla's father, and so she was the one that escorted him to the afterlife. So it's really cool that you had that little thread in there as well. And then she comes out. I don't forgive me. Like, she probably has a comic book character name. I don't know what superhero that is.
Apparently, it was on her ID. When they were making her fake passport, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
I'll look it up. You just keep talking.
Definitely correct me in the comments, but she's an awesome Egyptian superhero, and then Khonshu is fighting Amit, the goddess, and then, like, basically Steven does come back. His body is resurrected. Khonshu feels that. And so Khonshu leaves the fight. Yeah, leaves the fight because he knows that Mark Spector is back. What he doesn't realize is that Steven is also back, and that was a funny scene. And Steven has fully taken on Mr. Knight, that side of Moon Knight, and they're fully combined now. And Steven is going to be doing the negotiating from now on, basically.
Yeah.
And so he tells Khonshu what, Joe?
It's a really cool moment, actually. So Mark and Steven become accepting of each other's existence, right? So that's huge. Mm-hmm. That's what the whole 5th episode is about. And then leading into the finale, we finally get some resolution there. Mark, Steven, they're on the same page. That whole weighing of the hearts from the 5th episode gets balanced out. And what it took was Mark making the sacrifice to give up everything to make sure Steven was there all the time. Well, in so doing, now Steven is there all the time. A conscious part of his subconscious. He's no longer subconscious. He is there full time, and it's both of them. And he can switch at will now between the two of them when needed. So in that scene where Khonshu feels Mark come back, he disapparates, for lack of a better term, from the fight straight to Mark's side. And same deal. Mark, will you be my vengeance? Will you protect the travelers of the night? Mark accepts, and then Steven shows up. And Steven gives him the we're going to have a little bit of a discussion here, and I'm going to negotiate with you. Yeah. And Khonshu's like, wait, what? You want to do this now? Well, the fate of the world is at hand. And Steven's like, yeah, seems like a pretty good time. Pressure's on you, not me.
Yeah.
And he totally uses that to his advantage to negotiate release of them being the Avatar on completion of this journey, this road, this task, this whatever you want to call it. But when Amit is finally taken care of, then Steven and Mark get to just be Steven and Mark. They no longer are Moon Knight.
So that is the deal that they make. And then there's this like really cool joke. They were like, Steven's like, well, how are we going to get there? And Khonshu's like, you can fly, dude.
Yeah,
you forget.
I'm the god of the sky.
Yeah, so that was just really funny. And then honestly, this kind of ends MCU style. There's this huge fight. They go and save the day. What I really loved about this final fight is that you have Mr. Knight come out, and you see kind of like the two different fighting styles, where Mr. Knight is a little bit more kung fu, and Moon Knight is a little bit more brute force. And just like these two different fighting styles coming together within that fight scene was really awesome. And along with Layla, you have a really good tag team there, and they're fighting Harrow and his henchmen, and Harrow seems to get the better of them, and he does eventually get the better of them until Mark blacks out, until Moon Knight blacks out. Justin, you alluded to what my gripes were, and this is one of my gripes. I wish they introduced Jake Lockley here.
You thought it was anticlimactic, or?
Yeah, honestly, I really wanted to see that brutal fight scene. I really did. Okay. And that's probably my biggest gripe here. And also I wish that they didn't fight as kaiju, like the Amit and Khonshu. Like, I really wish they weren't that big. I still wish that it was like that smaller scale time, in the pyramid, but that I could take or leave. This was my biggest gripe. I wish they introduced that brutal Moon Knight in that scene. I don't know if you guys agree with me, maybe not, but I still we'll get to it in a little bit, listeners, but I still do like the end credit scene. I do like that. But I wish they introduced him here. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So number one, it's Scarlet Scarab. That was the name of the superhero she played. But from my perspective on the cinematography sense, this end fight scene, this cinematic amazingness, I liked the fact that we had like the gigantic fight in the background, and then they changed it by exposure. So you were literally watching the foreground with Harrow and the main characters, and then it would expose to the back, and you'd see similar like aspects, but with the giant creatures in the background also fighting. I really enjoyed the pans that they used for that. I do agree with you. It did seem kind of anticlimactic to not have that shown for that final, like, brutesque, you just see the aftermath, which is what we've got the entire season so far. To not be able to be seen that or shown that. But I think they were really trying to hold off. I don't know. They're planning on a second season, hopefully. Nothing's confirmed that I've seen, but the end credit scene definitely did allude towards that, being able to see those things happen. So maybe. I don't know. How about you, Joe?
I really liked it. I know I'll probably be the odd man out here.
And that's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, I think it just fits with what they've done the rest of the show, where they give you a lot and they hold back an important part. They give you a lot and they hold back something that you really want and something that eventually you'll need to know. So the existence of Mark, they held back, and then they finally gave us who Mark was. And then they held back and they finally gave us Layla and who she was. And they held back and they finally gave us what happened to Mark and his brother. And they held back and they finally gave us what happened to this relationship with his mom. And I think with all of these, it's specifically for a purpose that will, it's going to lead to something, and it will make sense once they give it to us. So like with that rooftop scene where Steven thought it was Mark and Mark had no idea what had happened. He just comes back and he's got the knife at the dude's chest and he's like, oh, well, whoops. We get the same thing here, but it's Harrow's own, basically it's like a maul, like a splitting maul or an axe, and he's got that to Harrow's forehead. And he comes back and it's like, well, what just happened? And then I think the fun part will be, I think the reveal that they'll give, and this is just assuming there's gonna be a second season because they went from series finale to season finale. And that's their own
tweets.
thing. And in the tweets, yeah. And on Disney Plus now it says season and not series finale, whereas the other shows that are only one series say series finales. On Disney Plus it says season finale. Now what I think they're gonna do, or what I hope they'll do, is next season, fingers crossed, knock on wood, they're going to give us Layla's perspective of what happened, because she was conscious and watching the whole time. She was stuck to the bottom of that car watching everything he did. And I can only imagine that's the take that they'll give us when they show us, if they show us, but when we get to see. And I think it's going to be huge as part of their journey, and Scarlet Scarab and Moon Knight and what happens with them. As far as the post credit, or not credit, the mid credit scene that they gave us, I really enjoyed that.
let me pause you there. Let's get into it. So basically Mark blacks out. He becomes Jake Lockley and basically saves the day. They bring Harrow back to the pyramid. They do a spell to get Amit trapped into her avatar's body, so that she can no longer basically wreak havoc. And then afterwards you have Khonshu releasing Mark and Steven from Moon Knight, from his service. And then you see, then we get to basically the end credit scene. So yeah, Joe, just really quickly go through that end credit. Actually, I'll have Justin go through it because he hasn't talked in a while. So Justin, go through that end credit scene, and then we'll give our ratings.
Ducks, lots of rubber ducks, spilling of coffee, close to rubber ducks, but not drowning rubber ducks. And then no more rubber ducks. And we get Harrow in a psych ward, basically being wheeled around by wheelchair. He is pretty much kidnapped from this psych ward and thrown into a backseat of a limousine. Then you see what's the I can never think of his name. Khonshu sitting in the backseat facing him, and he'd like to introduce us to somebody, and the limousine window drops down, and you see the third personality that we haven't really seen that much of, pointing a gun straight at Harrow, and then it pans out, and you just see lights flashing inside the vehicle, which signifies Harrow is not with us anymore. And then
Maybe.
Maybe.
It started with rubber ducks and ended with death, so I feel like it was a good end credit scene.
I love this scene because it's so Godfather. And I
It
love
is,
The Godfather.
yes.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. And this scene is just
Don't forget the cannoli.
Yeah, it's just so mobster, and I love it. And that's probably why Joe didn't love it. Or did you love it?
It was.
No, he said he liked it.
It was good. Yeah, I
It
didn't
was a
like it for
scene.
that
People
reason.
will watch it.
Yeah, I didn't like it for the mobster reason. Yeah, I'm not a big mob guy.
Okay.
I do like how they did it though. I love that he walks in. You don't get to see the face of the person who picks up Harrow. You just see Harrow getting wheeled out of the psych ward and then thrown into the back of a very nice Rolls Royce limousine. And then you have what I really like was Conchu was dressed as like basically
Mr. Knight.
Yeah, Stevens Mr. Knight and not Moon Knight or not himself.
Yeah.
So you get business Conchu.
Yeah.
And then when the partition slides down and we get who we think, is Steven or Mark, we get Oscar Isaac's character again. They finally give us a reveal. This is the last thing that they give us is, oh yeah, there's one more. At least one more.
And that's what season 2 probably needs to be. Season 2 probably needs to be like, how is Mark and Steven trapped, basically? Because, it seems that Khonshu has a hold of him, somehow. So I think that's what they're going to truly explore. And I think
also Layla and how she takes it, knowing that he is doing terrible things and doesn't have control of it and trying to probably fight Khonshu.
Yeah.
Which I think that was in the comics as well, from what I've researched. Him fighting Khonshu and breaking a skull or something like that. So
we
I
really
think
should have had Jarrett from Infinity Bros on this episode. But yeah, Joe, give us your, we'll just do a season rating, not just a finale. Let's do a season 5 out of 5. What do you got?
Whole season, we're giving it, I think I'm giving it 4. 4 Shabtis out of 5.
Just because I don't know the name.
Yep. Justin, is it going to be a rubber duck?
No, it's not, because I used rubber duck for the Matrix, so I can't do it again. So I'm going to go with 4.5. And if you're watching the video, if not, I'm waving my hand like this. Doctor Strange time bending movements without a time stone, because Moon Knight did it to change the sky and turn time back. 4.5 out of 5.
All right.
So motions of time change.
To be fair, that was Khonshu, who is a god.
Yeah, but he didn't have a time stone, so
Okay. He's powerful. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 blackouts.
5 out of 5 blackouts.
Yeah,
5 out of 5 Jake appearances.
Yes, I think this is such a brilliant show. I think Oscar Isaac brings it to a whole nother level compared to any of the other Disney Plus shows. I think this is one of the most enjoyable TV series that I've ever watched. So I'm okay with it ending in the quote unquote MCU style with the big fight, because we got so much drama and so much character development in the first 5 episodes. That I was there and I was ready for these big fights. So, 5 out of 5 blackouts.
I think it's unfair to say it ended that way, because it didn't really end. Right?
It was chapter 1 in this book.
This season did.
Kind of.
Yeah. Well, anyway, listeners, that was our Moon Knight review, season 1. So thank you guys so much for taking a listen to us. There's just these old farts, talking about stuff that we love. I'm younger than both of you, so anyway,
I'll accept old.
let me leave you with not only please like, comment, and subscribe. Review if you're on a podcatcher of choice. We would really appreciate it. We would love to read the reviews on the shows, so please just leave us a review. But also, let me leave you with a teaser for our next What the Fun show. And that is Ready Player One. Something that we, all 3 of us, really, really love. We love the book.
Oh, yes.
It's some of our favorite books of all time. It's my favorite book of all time.
It's up there for me.
And so we're gonna review the movie. get ready for that. We're really excited. And so, yeah, thanks to everybody who listened to all of our shows prior to our rebrand and all of our shows going forward. You are awesome. We thank you guys so much. For Justin, for Joe, my name is Mike, and we will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.